I'll go ahead and call this meeting of the Orange Township Board of Trustees to order. Today is Wednesday, April 16th. Time is 3:01 p.m. Ms. Batten, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Ringel.
Here.
Trustee Faust. Here. Trustee Knapp. Here.
Please all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first agenda item we have are general announcements.
We have a blood drive here coming up, sorry Jen, on May 8th. There's still some sign-ups available, so we would love more participation in that. We are doing this pretty consistently every 2 months-ish or so, or what the, right Val? When you're, yeah. Quarterly, thank you. So yeah, we're just thankful that we can open this up to the community. That was what I had. Did you want to talk about the grand opening last week we went to?
Sure. So Sexton's Pizza and Evans Farm had their ribbon cutting and grand opening last Wednesday. I believe you can order online. I'm not sure if you can order in person. I'm sure you can by now. But order early is what they say because they hand make all of their dough, so it sells out quickly. And then trying to think, we have...
It was so good, the pizza.
Did you eat it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. My son was so mad that I didn't invite him along.
Puttering around Lewis Center, right, is April 26th. That is a Saturday from 12 to 6. It's $40 for a 4-person team. Orange Township is participating, but it's in Evans Farms. So that's a fundraiser for Lewis Center Business Connect, but a fun, family-friendly, not overly expensive activity. If anybody's looking for something to do on a Saturday, a week and a half.
And we also hosted Representative Lorenz, or I should say the Delaware County Township Association Legislative Committee hosted Representative Lorenz yesterday here at Township Hall, and we appreciate Representative Lorenz taking the time to come talk with townships about concerns that we have on the legislative priorities. So I don't have any other updates.
Sydney, we have the Delaware Public Health. You want to give us
We are
that?
partnering with the Delaware Public Health District for 2 programming opportunities. The first is May 13th, and it'll be talking about healthy eating and some ideas on when you're grocery shopping, being careful on what you're choosing. And then the second one on May 20th will be about social connections and the importance of just being involved. Both of those will start at 10 a.m. and they're at the community room.
Do you have to sign up in advance for those?
No.
And are they for any age?
Yep.
They are on like a weekday in the morning, so they are more geared towards our stay-at-home or retired population. But we're excited to be able to partner with the health department, and as our township continues to age, I'm staying here and just getting older, so excited to be able to have some opportunities for all the ages of our residents.
Any other general announcements?
I don't have anything else.
A great segue into talking about our general health district in the public comment. So,
Well played, that was a good one.
Good transition.
Jen Keggy with the Health District, and a few announcements. So we have our spring tour that's going on with our mobile medical unit. So they're doing, every Monday they're going out to a different location in the morning and then in the afternoon. The ones, there's a few dates over in Liberty Township that would be close in this area. They're kind of trying this out. We're going to reevaluate it after we do this spring portion and see if there's other locations that we think we need to be at. So if you guys have ideas about that, certainly we can set up. We're doing screenings, immunizations, offering cribs, WIC appointments, and then other health resources depending on the location where we're at. And I'll share all this with Sydney so she can send it out. We're having a community shred day on May 3rd at the Health District. So in our parking lot from 9 to 12, you can bring up to 6 boxes of materials. So it'll be 9 to 12 or until the truck gets full. I'm not sure how much that.
Jen, is that paper and electronics? Or?
It's just paper.
Paper, okay.
Yeah, for this one. And I know later in the year, we are gonna be scheduling another tire drive. We had one not too long ago that was pretty successful, so they wanna do that again. We also have breastfeeding lunch and learn, so that's for new moms or their partners that wanna learn more about breastfeeding, so we offer those classes at our location. Sort of over lunchtime, we serve lunch. They get to meet with our breastfeeding peer helper. And then this is kind of fitting for the discussion we just had. I forgot this was in my packet. So we came up with an environmental health complaint guide, and basically it's a resource to tell you either yes or no, do we have jurisdiction over certain entities, whether we can go in and actually investigate something, because there's certain things that we just can't do. So I will make sure you get this, and there's like a QR code that goes right to our complaint form. And then once that's filled out, it'll get assigned to somebody to investigate.
Fantastic. Perfect. Thank you.
And then the last thing, I know that you guys submitted a grant for our micro grant program, so we're finishing up the reviews of that. I think we'll be done next week and making some decisions. We got, of course, like you always do with grants, way more requests than money we have. So I think we are gonna go back to our board and request some additional funds, which we've done in the past, and they've been pretty generous to do that for us. So yeah, we'll know a little bit more about that next week.
Great.
Yeah, all right, any questions?
No?
All right, awesome,
Thanks,
thanks.
Jen.
Thank you. Do I have any other public comment at this time? All right, seeing none, I believe our next agenda item is our Grand Marshal announcement.
Yes, I get to do that. So wanted to thank Sydney for orchestrating this, and she worked with our events committee to select Mr. Larry Beckwith. He's going to be our Grand Marshal for the Independence Day Parade this year. I'm gonna read some information about him, and it's pretty exciting. It is with great honor and deep gratitude that we announce the Grand Marshal for the 2025 Independence Day Parade, Mr. Larry Beckwith. Mr. Beckwith, a proud veteran and longtime advocate for service and community, is 77 years old and a resident of Lewis Center, where he and his wife Beverly have lived for the past 8 years. This October, they will celebrate 54 years of marriage. Together, they have raised 3 children and are the proud grandparents of 6 grandchildren who they absolutely adore. Born and raised in Middletown, Ohio, a town that also produced Vice President J.D. Vance, Larry's journey is one of remarkable courage and resilience. In 1967, while attending Miami University, after transferring from Ohio State, Larry received his draft notice. His student deferment had been invalidated due to missed classes, and he reported for duty without hesitation. He served in Vietnam as part of the legendary 1st Infantry Division, known as the Big Red One, and was assigned to a unit called the Black Lions. Larry carried the M60 machine gun, a weapon responsible for delivering half the firepower of a standard squad. As you might imagine, being the M60 gunner made him the primary target in any firefight. On October 9th, 1967, during a search and destroy mission in uncharted enemy territory, Larry's company walked into a brutal ambush. Serving as point man on the right front corner that day, Larry was hit 3 times, including taking 2 AK-47 rounds to the thigh. Despite his injuries, he managed to crawl to a banyan tree for cover toward the enemy, not away. In a moment of sheer grit, he was even stung by a scorpion and angrily bit its head off. Larry said his getting stung by the scorpion hurt worse than the bullets. That day, 8 of the 9 men in his unit were shot multiple times. Larry fired over 300 rounds from his M16, the weapon he was carrying that day, ultimately silencing the enemy long enough to allow others to survive. He was just 20 years old. More than 5 decades later, Larry's bravery was formally recognized when Tej Mosier, director of the Military Hall of Fame, contacted him about being a 3-time Purple Heart recipient. This recognition was supported by 7 sworn affidavits from fellow soldiers who had witnessed his valor that day, men who heartbreakingly lost their lives just 8 days later, on October 17, 1967, during the Battle of Ong Thang. Larry Beckwith represents the spirit of courage, sacrifice, and service that defines the very best of our nation. It is only fitting that he lead this year's Independence Day Parade as our Grand Marshal. Please join me in recognizing and honoring Mr. Larry Beckwith.
Yeah, do you guys want to do a photo op?
Larry, would you take a picture with us? Do you want a photo? Do you want a photo with us? Okay. I'll probably do it over here. Thank you for being with us here today, Larry, and allowing us to honor you.
Thank you for your service, and thank you for serving as our Grand Marshal as well. We sincerely appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much. I can't think of anyone that's more deserving of that. Thank you very much for your service and all the lives that you helped save and working for and fighting for our country.
The next agenda item we have, I believe Mr. Krimitzer is going to speak to.
Afternoon, trustees. We have Dean Stitz with us from Micco and Brabender, our broker, and he's going to talk a little bit about the ancillary lines of coverage that we're looking to renew. And ancillary is everything outside of medical.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you again. This year we're doing a bit unique for the better. You're going to have this conversation with me this month, and then you'll see us again next month finalizing the actual medical piece. So today is non-medical. Next month will be medical. So just real quick, I'll kind of highlight timeline. The real focus will be just kind of walking through the recommendations and potential changes, and then briefly hitting on next steps. But probably what I'll highlight on the timeline is just where we're at right now. So we've been meeting with the insurance committee and the HR administration team throughout kind of this first quarter. And I think we have a good direction to take the non-medical lines. If we can iron those out ahead of time, then it's just an easier focus on probably the most pressing piece, which is medical, for ultimately a July 1st renewal date for all lines. Mike and my team will be going on May 1st to call it the medical renewal unveiling. So we'll know that on May 1st, what that looks like, and then we'll act upon that at that point. But diving in to the recommendation, or actually let's just start on the dental. So Delta Dental is who we have today, and that came in initially at an 11.5% increase, which is a bit steeper for dental than we're accustomed to seeing. We did go to market and quote other carriers. 3 were competitive, but if you kind of take your eyes maybe to the bottom, you'll notice that if we chose a different, the next 2 competitive options would be Emeritus and Guardian. There's considerable disruption with who people visit today. So to kind of maybe call a spade, Delta Dental I would label probably as the creme de la creme as it relates to dental insurance. Most dentists accept Delta, case in point the numbers. So despite, and I guess the following slide will suggest this, but despite the 11.5% increase, the committee and the team has weighed the options, and given the savings are minor in totality and the disruption that it would create, the committee and the HR team is recommending we stay with Delta and take the 11.5% increase. So then transitioning slide, already mentioned kind of the Delta dental piece. The other lines of coverage, you'll notice they're fairly disjointed. VBA is vision, Mutual of Omaha is basic and voluntary life insurance for everybody, and then Guardian and Kemper Health are the accident, the critical illness, and the hospital indemnity. So across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, we have 4 different carriers. So the general statement is a recommendation to move to standard insurance. That is the company name, for all of these lines. You'll notice, and maybe just the highlights are annual savings across each of them. So not only are we bringing synergy, for the administration team, but also for members to know, they have a consistent carrier across. Those are positives, and then we're also saving money, whether that's paid by the township or paid by the employee. All options we're reviewing are positive in the sense of, what's going to come out of somebody's per pay. So standard across vision, across basic, and then maybe the last piece to highlight is that on the Guardian and Kemper lines, with the move to the standard, will now be July 1st renewals for them too. Oddly enough, we're January 1st for some of those today, so we're really not aligned in terms of when people are making decisions. So this would bring that all together. So kind of an obvious decision, I would think, but that is what we're, here today to kind of determine. And then maybe jumping to the final slide on next steps. There's a lot here. What all of this means is, we would implement any changes that we would agree to on the ancillary lines. Mike, myself will visit, Anthem, who's our medical, on May 1st. We'll find out what that looks like. And then we're hosting open enrollment. And you can even see those dates have already been determined. So that's just kind of course of action these next couple of months for ID cards in hand comfortably by July 1st. Any questions for me?
So just to recap, the dental portion will go up 11.5%, but it looks like the other 5, lines
Yeah.
will go down?
Correct.
Do we have a,
Yeah, it's about a $3,000 savings.
okay. I didn't know if we had a percent to compare, just went up this percent, it went down dollar value. Do we know what that percent is? We might not, it's fine.
We do in this moment.
Not this particular second, okay, totally fine.
Yeah.
And we had budgeted for an increase in 5% for Delta.
For everything.
For everything throughout the year, so obviously 11 is a lot more than what we budgeted for 5, but since we are going halfway through the year, basically, since it didn't increase for the first half of the year, there's
And that actually brings up, it's a good point. We will be locking, not the Delta piece, but we will be locking these other rates for a new 2-3 year cycle in some cases.
Okay.
So
more
where we
than
could have
12
been
months.
up for a renewal sooner, these are now rates that will be locked in for 24 months for vision, 36 months for basic life. And generally speaking, the accident, critical illness, those don't really change. So
Okay.
a positive, I guess, in terms of budget across
For the next
multiple
couple years, we can plan a
Yes,
little bit
yeah.
better for those line items, okay. I think it's good that we're not having to change dental, especially because it looked like so many people were in network with staying with Delta. I know my husband's insurance was Delta, and then they switched because of the increase, but luckily I had to adhere to, so it didn't affect us. But yeah, it's been a change, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other options, it would make us about almost half be out of network, so it would cause
That's a giant disruption.
issues, yeah. And I do like that we can switch vision carriers in making everything go to standard, because it does help on the administrative side to have, just standard and Delta for the ancillary items is a lot easier to keep track of.
And for members.
Yes,
as
and for
well.
members, yes.
Yeah.
I forgot I had some of them until we got
Right,
to this
yeah.
point. So the resolution in front of you today is to recommend, or to renew with dental with understanding the increase, and then switching vision carriers from VBA to standard, switching basic and voluntary to standard as well.
additional questions, discussion?
Is the Standard a good company to deal with?
Yeah, it's a preferred carrier. Truthfully, Mutual of Omaha, I should say preferred carrier, McGowan Bravener. Mutual of Omaha, VBA, Kemper Health are not. So we will be taking three, and those predate McGowan Bravener's involvement these last 4 years. So those were kind of legacy prior arrangement. What does a preferred carrier mean? Typically, we get what we want more. We get quicker response time. It's a better service perspective, not only for members, but for us as well in terms of getting things to resolution quicker. So, yeah.
Okay, because I haven't had good experiences with VBA in the
Yeah,
past.
and Lisa, to your point, that is with our healthcare committee, who within our committee is a representative from each department, that is the biggest concern, is the vision insurance. It's a problem here.
Yeah, it
so.
really is.
I don't use it.
Okay, all right, well, sounds good to me.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-114, approving the renewal or selection of new ancillary insurance carriers for township officers and employees.
Second?
Roll call. Trustee Knapp.
Yes?
Trustee Faust.
Yes.
Trustee Ringo.
Yes. Thank you, Director Krebnitzer, for all your work, and the committee on the work for getting all of that ready.
Yep.
So we have I'll defer. It looks like we have 2 agenda changes today.
Yes, so under operations, we do have the RFP for the construction manager at Risk Services regarding our new fire station. So Silas will further explain that upon his report. And then under fiscal, we did want to add the March financials.
Okay. Is there any questions or discussion about the consent agenda?
I have none.
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda for the regular meeting held on April 16th, 2025, including resolutions 25-115, approving the electronic record of the proceedings from the regular trustee meeting held on April 2nd, 2025, and the zoning hearing RCOD 2303, 79 Parkway Drive, held on April 2nd, 2025, and resolution 25-116, approving purchase orders, then and now purchase orders, and blanket purchase orders as listed.
Second. Roll call. Trustee Knapp.
Yes?
Trustee Faust.
Yes.
Trustee Ringo.
Yes. I believe our next agenda item is our development and zoning report, which Mr. Gasky, if you'd like to pretend to be Director Duffy today, you can.
Yes.
Honorary Director Duffy.
There you go, yeah.
Well, good afternoon, trustees. For the zoning report this afternoon, we have a few items before you. Wanted to bring to your attention later today, our case for Stugatz zoning application ZON 2501. That is for the parcel at 6025 Rail Timber Way. The applicant is Marino Catralagio, against Stugatz LLC. The acreage on the site is a 1.039 acre parcel, and the request is to amend the currently effective development plan to allow the restaurant, a new restaurant on a planned commercial and office district parcel. This is the most up-to-date of the plans submitted by the applicant. Moving right along, tomorrow we have a couple of agenda items, new business items on the Board of Zoning Appeals agenda. So that will be happening tomorrow at 6 o'clock here in this room. The first item is a variance and conditional use application, which is for the McDonald's. That's located at 6691 Artesian Run, and the parcel is 2.35 acres. This is planned commercial office district zoning, and essentially their request is to have a new monument sign that includes a EMC display within the display area of the sign. This is a variance as well as a conditional use. In fact, 2 variances for both the fact that monument signs are prohibited at this development location per the development text, and of course EMCs are not a permitted sign type per our sign code. So the location for the sign does meet the other development standards in terms of area for the sign. So there's the rendering for that. And then this following case is a little further south off US 23. The case is VACU 25-05. This is for the Pizza Cottage, which is at 8753 Owen Field Drive. It's on a 1.5 acre parcel. I think we discussed last time, but it is immediately north of the new Del Taco location, as well as another Broken Egg. So this is as well a variance in conditional use to request a monument sign, but the only difference being that this is a standard monument sign with no EMC incorporated. And the drawing here, there is a slight difference. The applicant has revised the drawing such that it does not include any LED lighting, so we have had that revision submitted.
Does it still have the red line across it? Just not an LED light?
I don't recall if there's
Okay,
any
I
red
just wondered.
component to it, yeah. But the third item for tomorrow is a continuation of our legal training, which part one had been done by our legal representative with Burroughs Hughes Johnson Griggs back in January. So we will get through the training, ideally the rest of the training tomorrow.
I was able to listen to the training that Julie's been doing with the team, so it's been helpful for me to hear and hopefully for our boards as well.
Definitely a lot of good material for them to go through and just refreshers for staff as well.
The good questions and discussion, too.
Yes.
I think there's more, right?
Let me scroll all the way down. Thank you. And this is a little further into the future. So the next zoning code rewrite discussion is going to be on April 22nd, which is a continuation from the last discussion on April 1st. And then our Board of Township Trustees rezoning application, which was tabled from February 13th. That's for ZON 24-09. This is coming up again before you. Well, I should say this is coming up for you, in front of you for April 23rd. Sorry, I'm missing the date. But just to remind you, this is for the site at 3812 East Powell Road, 1.4 acre site. And that should be everything. Yep.
Any questions or discussion about the report?
Have you heard that they're submitting a new, like a revised application? Robin mentioned it, but we haven't seen
I
anything.
haven't seen anything.
Yeah, if they were to submit it, I would say it would be in the next couple days. We usually ask for it at least a week in advance, but I don't think we've received anything.
To my knowledge,
Yeah.
this week, nothing has come through.
And it's a week from
to me.
today, it's next Wednesday, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next agenda item is our operations report. Director Bowers.
Thank you, Mr. Ringel. Board, today we got kind of a variety of stuff kind of scattered across the place, so I'll do my best to keep the train on tracks here. First thing is our annual road improvement program. The recommendation for the resolution is to approve the bid that was awarded by the county engineers. This is the annual road improvement program, variety of striping, resurfacing, spot repairs, pretty much doing what we can do to address our aging roads. And the bids came in lower than the estimates, which was exciting. So that resolution is before you to move forward with the annual road improvement program. The second two things, the second and third things you'll see are two different REAs. One REA is for a drainage easement that we're going to work on over on Arnold Place. We have some infrastructure over there that needs some attention. That's going to require some assistance from the county engineer's office. The other REA is related to North-South Parkway Drive at the board's desire to explore the implementation of weight limit restrictions on North and South Parkway. After that, we do have a couple obsolete items that we'd like to recommend putting on gov deals to see if we can auction those off. Those are our old lifeguard chairs that were all rebuilt in-house by staff this winter and ready to move on from those. I think they're somewhere in the 20-ish years old range, so they're ready to go. And then you'll see a no parking resolution. This was a lengthy project for the county prosecutor's office, and we're grateful for their assistance on this. As you can see in the resolution, there are a slew of resolutions that are upwards of 20 years old and beyond. Chris Betts and Corey, as well as the prosecutors that work for the sheriff's office, collaborated to get this cleaned up and kind of modernize where our no parking violations should fall, and clarify the enforcement of those, which was a little muddy based on previous resolutions from previous board members. And so that is obviously a lengthy resolution there, lengthy paperwork. The last thing is the agenda change that Michelle mentioned earlier. Is recommended by our legal counsel to have the board adopt the language in the CMAR RFP for the new fire station. So we have interviewed and shortlisted CMAR firms. The language you'll see in the RFP will be finalized and shipped out to those shortlisted firms, at which time we will send the RFP out so they can send proposals in. Then we will schedule interviews for that as we continue the preliminary work for the fire station design.
And for those of us who don't speak acronyms, CMAR is our construction manager at risk, and the RFP is a request for proposal from the shortlisted firms.
Thank you.
I have a question about another acronym. So our request for engineering assistance, our REA, for the weight limit study on Parkway, is that a street-by-street consideration for implementing weight limits?
That'll be a great question for an engineer that we
Okay.
can request assistance from and get their 2 cents on. I hate to provide you an answer that's not from an engineer, as I am not one. So we'll learn a little more together as we go through the process, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we approached it as, from the zoning hearing, that the residents were concerned with the construction traffic, so we did ask them to look at that whole area, but we might get results from a street-by-street.
And I have, just with the scenario that we were presented, I think we'll have future instances where, whether it be construction traffic or other circumstances, that we might want to consider weight limits. So I think this will be a helpful study on how to approach maybe implementing weight limits more broadly throughout the township.
Yeah.
So were you asking if it's a street by street within that neighborhood?
We just asked for the county engineers to look at that whole neighborhood
whole
regarding
thing, right,
this.
okay.
But I just don't know if they're gonna provide results based on each street.
Oh, is it, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Not sure how that'll look on their end.
We think if the community was, all the streets are, built at the same time, they would all have the same engineering structure to it, but you never know.
It's a safe assumption, but this is a relatively unique request, so I think it'll be educational to learn about the process and what we can and can't do.
Yes. We're lucky that we can partner with the county engineers and they can help us.
Yes.
Any other questions or discussions on operations report items?
So does that include the West Orange Avenue?
Yes.
It does, okay. And what about just Parkway Drive?
The east-west portion?
Like off of 23.
Yeah, it's called Parkway Drive.
I feel like that one you have to allow construction material on so that you can build that property to the south of it.
Yeah, there's some technicalities that are unique to this request. It's kind of blanketing the whole area, and then we'll probably be able to, as we learn more about it, we'll be able to decide, the board will be able to make a decision on what we can and can't do after the engineers provide their 2 cents, but I think there's kind of, like Michelle's mentioned, blanketing the whole area and then giving us some guidance.
Yeah, because that road might not be adequate as built anyway, It might need to be improved. So even though it just says North-South Parkway, it's all of the roads. They know that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Other questions or discussion?
I'm really glad to see the traffic tickets and things getting all cleaned up, because that's been a mess for a really long time. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been a disaster.
To
Thank
say
you
the least.
to everybody that worked on that to
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
do all
I
that
mean,
digging and
this is
research.
something we can enforce.
Which is great, because last year we had an issue where we needed some help, and turns out our hands were tied, but now maybe they won't be. If
Oh,
we
many,
were to
I mean,
run
how
into a
many
situation like that again.
conversations have Michelle and I had about enforceable and not
Years, yep.
enforceable and different weight, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, road widths and all that. This will be nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. And I do need you to read that whole title, because there's
I
a lot
will.
of, okay, thanks.
Every single resolution. Might take a couple breaths
Go
in
like that.
between, but. So I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-117, authorizing execution of the Delaware County Engineers 2025 Delaware County Road Improvement Program construction contract with the Shelley Company, and authorize the issuance of a purchase order.
Second?
Roll call. Trustee Knapp.
Yes?
Trustee Faust.
Yes?
Trustee Ringel.
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 25-118, authorizing Township Administrator execution of a request for engineering assistance with the Delaware County Engineers Office regarding drainage easement west side of Arnold Place between 10040 and continuing south.
Second?
Roll call. Trustee Knapp.
Yes?
Trustee Faust.
Yes?
Trustee Ringel.
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 25-119, authorizing Township Administrator execution of a request for engineering assistance with the Delaware County Engineers Office regarding guidance on implementing vehicle weight limit restrictions on Parkway Drive north and south.
Second?
Roll call. Trustee Knapp.
Yes?
Trustee Faust.
Yes?
Trustee Ringel.
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 25-120, finding certain personal property not needed for public use, obsolete, or unfit for the use for which it was acquired to have no value, and ordering it to be auctioned on GovDeals, Inc., be discarded or salvaged.
Second?
Roll call. Trustee Knapp.
Yes?
Trustee Faust.
Yes?
Trustee Ringel.
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 25-121, rescinding Resolutions 3-521, 3-522, 3-523, 3-524, 4-153, and 15-129, and disbanding the Orange Township Parking Violations Bureau of Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio, and amending Resolutions 4-310, 4-341, 4-410, 5-235, and 13-234 to make violations of Resolutions 4-310, 4-341, 4-410, 5-235, and 13-234 criminal offenses.
Second?
Roll call. Trustee Knapp.
Yes?
Trustee Faust.
Yes?
Trustee Ringel.
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 25-122, resolution to authorize staff to proceed with the request for proposal phase for a construction manager at risk for the new Fire Station 362 and Fire Training Tower.
Second?
Roll call. Trustee Knapp.
Yes?
Trustee Faust.
Yes?
Trustee Ringel.
Yes. Thank you, Director Bowers.
You're welcome. It's a new record for resolutions within a resolution.
Let's try and keep those to a minimum. Chief, fire report. Nothing to report today?
Nothing.
All right, then we'll turn to our fiscal officer, Ms. Batten.
Good afternoon. We have one official item, the March bank reconciliation. We have closed the month out at a total of $27,620,645. Of that, the general fund balance is at $12,004,019. Our road and bridge fund is at $2,935,775. The fire fund is at $5,764,778. And the parks fund, $4,167,676. And the combined other funds totaling $2,748,397. Just quick note that we did receive our 2025 first half real estate settlement. That did come in after March was reconciled. That amount of $9,444,224.06 was deposited on April the 2nd. And then one quick note, all of the audit on-site work for our 2023-2024 biannual audit was completed last week. We are going to have an additional engagement for 2024 for our federal funds exceeding the $750,000. That's for our ARPA funds. And then we'll just now sit tight and wait for the audit report to come in.
For the distribution from the county, is it typically that, I know this is your first year here, but you sit at Genoa, is it typically this late in the calendar year that
No.
it's April? Okay.
No, this was very late. Last year, I went back on our books, we received on March the 15th, and I even believe the prior year to that, it was closer to the beginning of March. So yes, this is the latest, I believe, that we have ever received our real estate
And do we know if
settlements.
there was a reason that it was this late?
I do not know of one specific reason why.
Okay. Because if it'll be this late, we just have to make sure that we're dealing with that from a carryover perspective at the
Yes,
end of this
yes.
year to make sure that if it were to come this
Yeah.
late again, that there's enough in our funds to be able to pay all
Yes.
the bills.
Yes, that's, one of the reasons why having 25 to 50% carryover is needed because we fund on 2 huge settlements a year, the majority of our funds.
Right.
So that is very important. And that's all I have for you this afternoon. Any other questions?
I have none.
I don't either. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-123, review of the March bank reconciliation and financial reports.
Second?
Roll call, Trustee Knapp?
Yes.
Trustee Faust?
Yes.
Trustee Ringle?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Administration report, Administrator Bonnie?
Yes, I will actually divert that to Ms. Herbert.
Good afternoon, Board. We've got a few things in front of you for the administration report today. The first is our 2025 sponsorship opportunities. We've expanded on the opportunities for this year. We've had a few of our events twice, so we have a better idea of what we can open up for sponsorship now. A few notable additions that I'll include are we're going to open up the 3-night swims for the summer for sponsoring. We also have the food and drink tent at the Founders Festival and sponsoring 1 of 5 prizes for the scavenger hunt at the Founders Festival. The second thing on the administration report is the Veterans Race/Walk. We have a great Veterans Committee. They've already met twice this year, and they will meet again before the month is over. They've proposed the idea of holding a Patriot to Veterans 4-mile walk/run on October 11th. After working with Silas and Michelle and Race Penguin, we've proposed a route. The route should be in the template. Once they get the route up, you'll see it's still subject to change, but we are anticipating starting and ending at the Veterans Memorial if possible. We'll have a final route once that's approved.
And we'll need to partner with the sheriff's office to pause traffic since because my understanding it's the Veterans is north of Orange Road and then the bulk of the race is south of Orange
Yes.
Road, right? In that southeast quadrant of Orange and Southfield State.
Yes.
Yeah. And my understanding is part of the route will be on the path that will go along East Powell that will be brand new and done. All of our fingers and toes are crossed prior to the race, which will be fun.
I'll put it in Dropbox if you want to keep going.
Okay. The third thing on the agenda is the Delaware Area Career Center intern. As you know, Frank is currently our intern through the Career Center, and he will be with us through July after the parade when he goes off to college. Senior HR manager. and I interviewed a few students at the Career Center a few weeks ago. The candidate we're proposing to you is a current junior. Her name is Lily Hohenbrink. She's a junior at Big Walnut High School right now. Her portfolio was impressive. We think she'll be a great asset to the team, and we think it'll be a great learning experience for her as well. And then the last thing and her resume should be in there too.
That was in the backup, that one. I saw.
Okay. The last thing I have for you is MailChimp. As you all know, our email list, mail campaign, listserv, has several names, has been down for the past few weeks. This has caused a lot of headache from several perspectives. Michelle and I met with Buckeye Innovation, our website provider, to understand more about what the transition with MailChimp would look like. We also had a call with a representative from MailChimp who talked us through the best options for financing and transitioning the contacts that we currently have in the website and how to transition them into MailChimp. Buckeye put together a mock-up of what the new emails will look like. That should also be in there. There's the route for the race. That's the proposed route. We're still working on solidifying that.
It's going right by my house, it'll be great. I'll wave as I run by.
It's
Erica
4
will cheer them
miles.
on.
The goal is to start and as close to the memorial as
Yeah,
possible,
totally.
so.
Yeah.
And then Eric, if you have the MailChimp mock-up. It's just a few screenshots of what Buckeye has put together.
It's basically the formatting, right, that'll come in the
Yeah.
emails, yeah.
It'll just look more appealing if you're receiving emails. I think we'll have a higher turnout of people clicking on emails, going to the website to learn more. And then we will also include a QR code in the spring newsletter to invite residents to join the email list.
That was my question. Will we, the people that have already signed up, are they gonna be like kind of transferred over so nobody has to re-sign up?
Yes, they'll
Okay.
receive an email from us saying we're gonna move to MailChimp, and then their email will automatically get put in the new
Okay.
MailChimp system, but they can decide from there which lists they wanna be a part of. We're going to consolidate a few of them. We have like 20 lists that we don't use. So we're gonna condense those into zoning, general meetings, board meetings, and events, or general announcements, including events.
So 3?
Can you refresh it again?
3, yes, 3, and then they have an option to go into all. So when they click, there will be 4 buttons they could click.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's the D one. I do want to show you guys what
Yeah.
it looks like, because it is really cool. If you go to page 4, I think, of that. So,
Oh, that looks better.
yeah. Big difference to what we currently offer.
Because what we
so.
currently offer is really just an email, it's just text. There's
Yes.
nothing fancy or flashy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the title is never anything good.
Yeah, so these are images.
You know,
we
it's so
can-
like, I don't
Right.
know, not descriptive.
So I think this is the first one that would look like it on your computer, and then they have like this
There's a-
the smartphone option.
Yeah.
If you keep scrolling down, Eric. Thanks. Yeah, so we'll like, have upcoming events. I don't know, it just looks nicer, and I think it's more, people will want to read it more.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that we had a problem that made us go to this, but, it should be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's Doggy Day Spa?
That's just a filler.
We haven't done that yet.
It looks legit.
But it'll be divided up to trustee meetings, zoning, anything zoning related, general announcements,
That's it.
And then all.
yeah.
So if it's the zoning, but it's at our level.
We'll send it to both.
That'll hit zoning
Yeah,
and trustee.
we'll send
Okay,
it to
cool.
both the zoning listserv and the trustee if it's a trustee zoning
Okay.
hearing.
For the newsletters, as an example, will we be able to hyperlink events and upcoming zoning meetings so that we can then get more information on the website that's
Yep.
posted?
Yeah, it'll be, if you receive emails now, you probably get emails from MailChimp, and you'll know you can click on a link and it'll take you to the website.
Awesome.
Perfect. And thank you to all our residents for your patience as we
Yeah.
upgrade our email system.
And as far as our DAC internship, Frank's been fantastic, so we're grateful for him working with us, and we're excited for Lily
Lily, yes.
to start, so that'll be fun. The Veterans Day walk, I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, Thank you
It'll be
to the committee
fun
for
walk, yeah.
literally hitting the ground running.
Yes,
and,
definitely.
planning events and being very active, so it's exciting to see.
Frank has been great. I mean, I can't believe he's only, is he 17?
No, he's 18.
He's 18 now.
yeah,
He's,
yeah, he's-
seems so much older than that, so mature. I mean, I've been so impressed with him and all the work he's done. I do have a question for the, the request for the sponsorship policy.
Yes.
So, can the trustees, I see that there's a bunch of stuff that we can't have by law, by ORC 903, but
Sure.
are we allowed to reject legally any particular vendor that we want? Because it did say in the agreement somewhere that, let's see here, the Orange Township Board of Trustees reserves the right to reject any advertisements for publication. So do we have legally, we can reject anyone for any or no reason?
As you read it, that's my understanding. I think before we would ever take such action, I'd probably get legal advice on if that is something we should do, just to protect ourselves, but
Has this gone through legal yet?
legal put this together,
did?
so.
Which legal was it?
Our outside counsel, Julie Donovan.
Julie? Okay.
Yeah.
Because my only concern is that there could be some use that none of us would like just for example, cannabis, like, I would not want that actually on our website, but technically, it doesn't look like it's barred by 903, even though I think that should probably maybe be updated in the Ohio Revised Code. But, there could be some uses that we aren't even thinking of now that they could come in and request to advertise or be on a, banner or whatever, and
Sure.
I can't think of anything offhand, but, and then I would hate to find out later that we actually could not prohibit that because we're being discriminatory.
Yeah,
It might not ever
I
happen.
think if there's a vendor that or a sponsorship that we are concerned with, we're happy to pass it through legal.
So you would let us know if we thought, okay. I mean, I can't think of what that would be,
Yeah.
but there's, you can't have cigarettes or alcohol, and or of course, anything illegal, no political candidates, some other stuff, but
Sure.
there might be some other use that, I can't think of, I can just think of the one. Okay, but Julie put that together, so.
Yeah, and what we do, so we've done this before, we did one of these last year, so every time we update this table that lists the specifications of what they can be what somebody can sponsor, always has to get passed through a new resolution. So that's why we're here today, to add the night swims and, more options for Founders Festival.
Yeah.
I probably see something, more as we continue expanding our events, so.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, if there's a concerning vendor, I'm happy to
You let us know,
get
yeah.
some advice on that.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions or discussion on the administration report?
I don't have any.
I have none.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-124, approving and updating a commercial advertising and sponsorship policy for the township's website.
Second?
Roll call, trustee Knapp.
Yes?
Trustee Faust?
Yes.
Trustee Ringle?
Yes, and I believe our next item is a consensus item. So are we all in consensus on hosting the Veterans 4-miler run on October 11th?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
What day is that again?
It
It's a
is
Saturday.
Saturday at 9 a.m.
What day is that? It's on
Saturday.
Saturday. What day?
October 11th.
October 11th, okay.
And then I will make a motion to approve Resolution 25-125, appointment of Lily Hohenbrink to position of paid apprentice and establishment of compensation.
Second?
Roll call, trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Faust?
Yes.
Trustee Ringle?
Yes, I make a motion to approve Resolution 25-126, a resolution authorizing the township administrator to enter into an agreement with MailChimp for email marketing services and to authorize the ongoing purchase of services under the same terms and pricing.
Second?
Roll call, trustee Knapp? Trustee Faust?
Yes.
Trustee Ringle?
Yes, thank you, Director Herbert. Thank you, Board. Don't believe we have any other new business or old business, and no need for executive session, correct?
Correct.
All right, then I will make a motion to.
I just have a quick
Go ahead.
question. Is it possible for us, if they don't already have it, for us to buy bricks for our grand marshals who are veterans in our Veterans Memorial? We might not know now, but it just occurred to me. We might be able to, as a benefit of them being grand marshals, purchase, if we're able to,
Does he
purchase
have
them a
one?
brick.
I believe Mr. Beckwith has a brick already. We can look into getting one that says Grand Marshal.
Yeah, that might be
Like-
kind of neat, something to look
A
at.
way
And
to
could we do last
commemorate
year's
the
as
Grand
well?
Marshal.
Yeah, and last year's too, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe every year make it a special,
It's a great idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
if we're allowed to do that.
I will
We
look
look
into
into
it.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, that's all.
For the last two, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think we've
The
only,
veterans ones.
I think
yeah.
we've only
Yeah.
had two veterans. We had a
The
veteran.
first one was not a veteran.
Yeah.
Well,
but- no,
I
he
don't know if he
wasn't.
was a veteran. He's a radio personality. He might be a veteran.
Is he a
Could
veteran?
be, but the last two,
I am
but,
unsure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
okay, yeah.
We could ask though.
I would
But since
veterans.
we've made it veterans
Correct.
themed.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, great, thanks.
Yep, I can look into that.
Awesome. That's all.
Any other new business? All right, then I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-127, meeting adjournment.
Second?
Roll call, trustee Knapp?
Yes?
Trustee Faust?
Yes.